Most people think the reason matters. Motivation, inspiration, a big why. But here's the truth. At first, the reason doesn't matter at all. First, you build discipline, and once discipline is built, the reasons stop being important. That's reality. So, here's today's question. How do you know if training to grow or just training to relieve guilt? Welcome, friends. I'm Fred. Here we talk about training, real life business, and investments, all from my personal perspective. And today's topic is training. So, how can you tell if you are really training to grow? Not in a bodybuilding sense, but growing as a person, building real physical preparation. Or if you are training just because you feel guilty. And yes, some people train only because of guilt. I'll be honest with you. There are days when, if you don't train, if I don't train, I feel guilty. Not because someone is watching, because I made a commitment to myself to train every day. But here's the key point: the reason doesn't matter as much as people think. If you go because of guilt, great. If you go because you love it, even better. But what really matters is that you go. And for you who haven't started yet, find any reason to start. Even guilt is fine. Because once you start, something more important happens. You begin to build discipline. And once discipline is built, there is no motivation. There is no debate. There is no excuse. You train because that's what you do. Let me give you an example. When I was younger, I had a huge fascination with boxing and kickboxing. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Rocky movies, kickboxer, Jean-Claude Van Damme. There was something almost magical about boxing gloves, the stance, the movement. Back then, I trained Taekwondo because that was what existed in my city. And it was good. But when I finally had the chance to train kickboxing, man, I jumped in completely. Putting on boxing gloves, felt different. The posture was different. The mindset was different. And that made training deeply pleasurable. That's an important lesson. When you find an activity you enjoy, training changes completely. For me, combat sports are intense. They drain you. You leave destroyed. But running, cycling, those are different. For me, running is not about suffering. It's about building an aerobic base. It's like the foundation of the house. That training is calm, relaxed, almost meditative. So yes, effort is part of sports. Suffering exists, but enjoying is built, not found. Now, someone might say, Fred, I don't like anything. I hate all sports. Fair enough. Then train only for health. Lift weights, run, cycle, swim. Do something that builds strength and cardiovascular capacity because that's what gives you longevity. You don't need passion at first. You need movement. Here's something important. Most people who say they hate sports are people who never allowed themselves to go through the adaptation phase. The body protests at first. Everything hurts. Breathing is hard. But if you stay long enough, 1 year, 2 years, your body adapts. And once the body adapts, training stops being pure suffering. That's when people start to enjoy it. This is where training becomes growth. When you understand that physical preparation is an asset, just like a financial capital, just like business skills, you build it daily, over years. That's why I don't train randomly. My morning cardio is light. It builds the base. My afternoon training is intense. That's where I stress the system. Each has a role. That's training to grow. So, how do you identify the difference? If you train just to relieve guilt, you stop as soon as guilt disappears. If you train to grow, you understand its long-term construction, a physical asset, a personal responsibility. And here's the most important part. Even if you start with guilt, you can end with growth. Guilt can be the door. Discipline is the structure. Growth is the result. So, tell me in the comments, do you train because of guilt? Or do you feel you are already training to grow? And remember, this is not about bodybuilding. It's about becoming stronger, healthier, and more capable as a person. Thank you for watching. I read all the comments. See you in the next video.